I'm Nicola, the colourist for Keim Paints. I'm going to show you today how to apply the Concretal Lasur system. On large areas, the best way to apply it is with an airless spray, but other areas, or it may not be practicable because of glass, etc., then to excessive masking, then brush and roller application is the way to go. First of all, selecting the colour will have been done previously by the architect. We've got a range of 25 colours tailor-made to match concrete throughout the UK over the last 5 to 10 years. Pick a colour that's close in terms of hue and tone to the background colour, the general colour of the concrete, and then you're asking the Lasur to do less. The further away the colour is, the more coats you're likely to need. The closer the colour is, the more effective a result you're going to get for concrete that looks as if it hasn't been painted but is very good quality, disguising repairs, marks to seams, rust staining, etc. So I've got a colour here that's pretty good. So once you've selected your colour, we're going to use CL018. The first coat is to apply Concretal dilution to the surface. There are some golden rules with Concretal Lasur application. The first of those is to work from the base upwards. Keep a wet edge going, and the best way to keep a wet edge going is to use as large a brush as you can. We do supply these, and long pile roller, we also supply these. But the larger the brush, obviously the more quickly you can get across the surface, and the less chance you've got of having any overlaps. If you've got any very large areas, you might have one paint to start and then another one next to him ready to take over, but just have a look at it and work out when you're doing this dilution coat how you're going to apply the Lasur in the second coat without having any wet edges dried. So first of all, the Concretal dilution. Once your concrete is prepared, it's dry and the repairs have been dried, 15 days from the initial pour, and once there are no release oils on the surface and the repairs are dried. So, Concretal dilution, as I say, should be applied from the base. Just work it well into the concrete. Working upwards, then any runs that are going to happen will go back into wetted concrete and can be worked in very easily. On vertical surfaces, it's always worth just taking a roller over as well, just to move any runs. On soffits, that's not necessary. So there's your first coat, Concretal dilution. That's your priming coat, and that goes on with all of the Concretal Lasur systems. That then needs to dry for 12 hours before you apply the next coating. This piece had a coat of Concretal dilution applied 12 hours ago. You can feel that the absorption is more even. So we're ready to mix the Lasur coating. Generally, we'll mix, it's always a two-part system. It'll generally be a 2-to-1, a 3-to-1, or a 4-to-1 ratio. So that would be the larger part of dilution, always the larger part of dilution, and the smaller part to be the Lasur. Today I'm going to show you the 3-to-1 mix, which is the most typical mix that we do. Just bear with me. And it is a case of making sure it is exactly to the point, not scooping the jug in. So 3 litres of Concretal dilution. Just 1 jug of the Lasur paint. say paint, we tend to think of it as a stain. Mixes together very easily. Doesn't need a mechanical mixer. But it will settle out, so you need to make sure about every 10 minutes you make sure you get it up from the bottom and give it a good stir. Make sure it really is staying at the same blend. Otherwise, obviously, it will be more dilute. So, there we have our Concretal Lasur ready to apply. Exactly the same, golden rules. Work from the base upwards. Keep a wet edge going. However many painters it takes to do that. Obviously in the small area it's a bit difficult to show you, but exactly the same rules. Start at the base. Cut in as you come to it. Don't cut on all the sides and then just working back into your wet edge. And after you've gone about a square metre, take your roller over the top. If you don't do that, you'll see brush marks and it will look like a mist coat. By taking the roller over it, any appearance left in the roller will mimic the mottled appearance that you have with concrete anyway. But generally it will remove any application marks. You can't see any application marks when you've got a successful Concretal Lasur system, which will look like unpainted, good quality, fairfax concrete. You do need to mask off glass. We'll etch into the glass surfaces, so it's quite liquidy, so it will fly around a little bit. So brush it on and take a roller over it. As soon as it's dry, leave it alone. But while it's still running, take a roller over it, just to lose any brush marks, avoid that mottled appearance. That is a completed system. One coat of dilution primer, one coat of Concretal Lasur. For the life of the product, that has achieved the performance, and in some instances, that will unify the concrete enough. If you want further opacity, there may be occasions where you have dark stains to the seams, there may be rust staining to the concrete, there may be two different pores of concrete which have come out two different colours, then it will necessitate a third coat. This piece of concrete had exactly the same system applied to it 12 hours ago. So that's the two-coat system at the moment. For the three-coat system, very simple, exactly the same thing again. Only mix up about as much Lasur as you want for half a day. Don't take it through to the next day. It will not settle back into Lasur and dilution. It will draw the binder out of the Lasur and you'll be left with the hard mud on the bottom. So just use what you want for the day. So exactly the same thing. Starting at the base, cutting in as you come to it, and taking a ruler over. When you're doing large jobs, obviously a roller is going to get saturated. I always keep a scraper in my side pocket and just take off the surplus material so that the roller doesn't start skidding around on the surface. That will then take 12 hours colour to be fully realised. In some conditions it'll dry very quickly, but it's 12 hours before you've got your final appearance. Very often, in its wet form, it'll be very translucent, and the darker marks will show through quite dramatically, so it'll look worse before it gets better. You have to trust us, walk away, come back the next day. Got a lovely, unified, concrete surface that's protected, but it doesn't look as if there's any paint on there. So it fits in with the architect's original specifications. Fantastic surface. Just keep checking, a few runs coming here. Just take the roller over them until you're certain. There are no runs. All the brushes and rollers can be washed out in water, and you've got a satisfactory finish there.